jump scare. Ugh. Let's get situated, not look creepy. Is this centered? Hey guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm super excited because we're gonna do a Q&A video. It's been a while since you guys submitted your questions, so I'm sorry about that. I had a lot of things going on, so I ended up filming another video instead of the Q&A video. I'm also gonna give some life updates at the end just to let you guys know what's been going on in my life. It's been a while since I've given an update like that, so we will do that at the end. But first, let's get into the first question. First question right off the bat is a nice juicy one. It says, what are your life dreams and goals? I would say that my first goal overall in life is to glorify God, and I'm a Christian, so that is very important to me. That is my main purpose in life. That is what God created all of us to do, is to glorify Him. So that is really the overarching thing that covers everything that I do. Do I always fulfill that purpose? No, but that is something that I do try to do, is glorify God. A less broad goal, but still pretty broad, is I really want to make an impact and reach people, especially through my writing. Just being able to help people in some way or spread the gospel, just make an impact, change the world. I made a video about this a little while ago, so if you guys want to go check that out. It's one of my favorite videos that I made, actually, just because it kind of encompasses a lot of what I do. A huge goal that I did have was to become a published author, and of course that happened because this past June I published my first book, The Price of Blood. Hold on one second. This is my book. Isn't it so pretty? It's so cute. I love it. Yes, this is my book, The Price of Blood, so you guys can go buy it on Amazon if you would like. I think you're gonna love it. I spent 6 years writing it. Last Q&A, I was telling you guys a little bit about it, and now here we are. One of my biggest goals was to become a published author, and so that has been achieved, which is insane. I'm not even 20, and I've already achieved one of my biggest life goals. Another huge life goal dream that I have is I do want to become a wife and mother someday. I've always wanted to become a wife and mother, but especially in the past several years, God has really put that desire in me. And while being a writer is so fulfilling and I love it, I've fulfilled my goal, my dream of becoming a published author. And while I will continue writing as long as God allows me to, becoming a wife and mother is a great calling. And so if it comes to that where I would have to not be able to write anymore, I'm willing to do that for the goal and for the dream of being a wife and mother, because that is a huge thing. And that really goes along with making an impact, because as a mother, you impact your children. And so that is something that's very important to me. Water break. The next question is, what kind of format is a published book usually submitted in? I'm wondering, is it as simple as a Microsoft Word document, or is there more to it than that? So I submitted my book in PDF form, I think. I think there might be other forms that you can submit it in. I'm not sure if Microsoft Word is one of them, but I think PDF is a pretty safe option to go with, which a lot of documents you can convert to a PDF anyway, so that's nice. Now, the thing with publishing, self-publishing anyway, is that you have to submit it in a certain format, otherwise it's not going to print correctly. So there's a lot of tedious things that you have to do. You have to make sure the margins are correct. You have to make sure spacing is good. You have to make sure there's page numbers and headers, and make sure they're all in the correct spots and chapters, and you have the front matter and the back matter, like the table of contents and all that sort of thing. So there's a lot more that goes into formatting a book than maybe you would think, and especially for self-published people who kind of do a lot of that themselves. There's just a lot of work that goes into it before, once you're done writing the book, before you actually publish it. There's two general ways that you can format your book. You can either download a template, KDP, which is what I published through, that's Kindle Direct Publishing through Amazon. They have a template that you can use that you can download and use on Microsoft Word. What I opted for, because I wanted the book to look a specific way and I wanted to just customize it to what I wanted. I formatted it manually, which I do not recommend doing if you don't have a lot of patience, because it was a lot and I had to figure out a lot of things, and I'm not very techie, so that was a little bit difficult, but it ended up, working out, and I think it turned out great. But it definitely took a lot more time and patience than I anticipated. So those are really the two main ways that you can do it. Is you can do it manually, or you can download a template. The next question is, if you couldn't be a writer, what would you be? That is a very difficult question to answer. I would say the main thing, like I said before, is I would be a wife and a mother. That's something that I've wanted to do for a long time, and so I would want to be able to write while being a wife and mother, because I might have, some spare time. But if it comes to that, I've decided that I would give up writing if it meant that I could impact the next generation and raise up a new generation. That is a huge calling. Other than that, like if I, in this stage of life, I'm single, if there was another career that I would choose, I have other jobs. I work as a secretary, which at my church, I work for my dad. My dad's the pastor. I enjoy doing that. So, and I like organizing and such. I'm not sure if I would make it a career. I'm also a kitchen leader at a coffee shop, so I make like a lot of the sandwiches and the food. I enjoy doing that too, but I'm not sure if that's like something I would necessarily pursue. Like I like cooking, but I don't think I would actually make that a career. But something that I would love to do is be some kind of like public speaker, or have some kind of ministry, even like traveling around and speaking. I do love traveling. I do like having a home to come back to too, so I'm not sure how much of that I would like, but I do like public speaking. I never thought I would like doing that, but I do. So that would be a very fun thing to do, and I think I would enjoy that a lot, and I think it would challenge me a lot. I'm not sure what career path or what I would choose, but that's just kind of a thought I have. That's something I very much have a heart for and enjoy doing. I think it's just hard to imagine not being a writer, because that's like so much of my life is writing. I write books and short stories, and I write poems, and I write scripts for my YouTube videos, and my YouTube videos are all about writing. And I have Instagram too. I do stuff about writing on there. I have a blog, so I post about writing and I write those posts. My sister and I have a podcast. I write the outline for the podcast. As a secretary at our church, I write some things, and I also, every year, I do our Christmas program. So I write our skit or production or whatever we're doing for our Christmas program that year. So it's like a huge part of my life. So I can't really imagine not writing, like in some capacity or another. In this stage of life that I'm at, like I have time to do those, to have some sort of extra career or hobby, and that's what I chose to do. And I can't imagine like not doing that unless I have something else to occupy my time. I'm literally always writing. So that's kind of a tough question. The next question says, who are the people who have had and still have an impact on you as a Christian? This is a really good one. I love this question. There are a lot of people who have had an impact on me as a Christian. A lot of random people I think of. Like I think of different preachers that I've heard that, they preach this one sermon that I heard and it like super impacted me, or various things like that that are just kind of random people. I would say the biggest people who have had an impact on my Christian life are my family. As a homeschooler, I'm around my family. I'm not homeschooled anymore. I graduated, but I grew up around my family a lot. And so we all taught each other a lot of things. Sometimes that was patience, but I think of all of my family members, all of my siblings, even though I'm, the third oldest, I have a lot of younger siblings. I learned things from my younger siblings. They've impacted me in a lot of ways. My older brothers have impacted me a lot. And my parents have been probably the biggest people to have an impact on me. They are extremely hard workers. They're always working hard for the Lord and for other people. And you can tell that they do it out of love for the Lord and for other people. And they are just always doing things for God, whether it gets seen and whether it doesn't. And they sacrifice so much. And so that's a huge example to me, to be sacrificial and to work hard and be strong, not for myself, but for other people out of love, and ultimately love for the Lord. And a lot of people don't see everything that they do, but they still do it because that's not what they do it for, is to get seen. So they made a huge impact on my life. Another person that has had a huge impact on my Christian life is my bestie, Juliana. If you're watching this, love you. Her and I have been friends since we were really little. I can't remember the exact age, but we were pretty little. And we don't even live near each other anymore, but we are still really good friends, and we have both been able to help each other through a lot of stuff. And so our friendship is very close, and she has impacted me a lot and encouraged me a lot in the Lord and shown me things that, you know, I wouldn't have maybe otherwise realized. So she's also had a huge impact on my life. Some other people that have had an impact on my Christian life are just a lot of the people at the church that I used to go to in Indiana. There was like some Sunday school teachers, other older people in the church, my pastor, that really had an impact on me as a young person. I think specifically of my Sunday school teacher, Mrs. Curtis. She sadly passed away several months ago, but she's made an impact on a lot of people, and she's a huge testimony of just being faithful and loving the Lord. You can tell she loved the Lord, loved children. So she made a huge impact on me as a kid. And even now I still look back at her and am encouraged to be as faithful as she was. The next question is, what are your thoughts on Charlie Kirk and what he did? This is a hot topic right now, maybe more so like a week or two ago. Well, when this comes out, it'll probably be even further back. But this has, kind of blown up all across the nation and really across the world. So it's a huge thing right now. I believe that he was a godly man and a brother in Christ, and that I will see him in heaven one day. And he did a lot of great things. He stood for a lot of great things. He was a very steadfast, faithful man. And I think that's a huge example to all of us to stand for our faith and to try to make an impact, especially on the youth. And he really did it out of a heart for the Lord and a heart for the youth of America, which I think is super inspiring for all of us. Do I necessarily agree with him and everything that he believed as far as like doctrine? I don't think so, but he was a martyr for Christ, and I think that we should remember him and look at him as an example of somebody who was faithful in the Lord. One thing I did want to say is that while we should look to him as an example, we do need to be careful, because I've seen so much going around about him on the internet lately, which is good. It's spreading the name of Jesus, which is amazing. I love that. We do need to be careful about not idolizing him and putting him on a pedestal that only God should be on, because he wasn't perfect. He was a man, and he knew that too. And so I don't think he would want us to think of him as this perfect man who never sinned, and we shouldn't look to him more than we look to Christ. So I think that's something to be careful of. And another thing is to be careful of not getting swept away in compromise, because there are a lot of people out there who, are supporting and spreading this message about Charlie Kirk, but we do need to be careful that we are not compromising and collaborating with people who do not believe a true gospel, or who do not, agree with us in foundational doctrines, because something like this that's super big and super dramatic can tend to sweep us away with, whatever is going on. And while generally this has had an amazing, huge, great impact on our nation and has brought up the name of Jesus in so many contexts, we still need to be careful that we're not swept away with wrong beliefs and wrong thinking, because Satan can still use this and try to get in and twist things. So I think we do need to be careful of that. I have a lot more that I could say and already did say about this, which is why you guys should go check out the podcast that my sister and I have, the PK Pod. We have an episode on there all about this topic and just some of our thoughts on it, more just an encouraging of our response, what our response should be to this. So if you guys are interested in hearing a more full answer on that, you guys can go check that out. We'll try to remember to link it in the description below. But yeah, those are my general thoughts on Charlie Kirk. The next question says, what are your favorite hobbies and why? This is a really great question because I love talking about my hobbies, so I'll try to keep it short for you guys. In fact, I'm trying to keep this whole video short, but I have a feeling it's going to be pretty long. So thank you guys if you're sticking around and watching the whole thing. My favorite hobbies and why. And it continues, when did you start doing them? I love this question so much. So obviously my favorite hobby, and more than hobby, career now, is writing. And I love writing because I love creating words and using the words that God gave us to spread his message and just to spread him and make an impact on the world. I love being creative and trying different genres and different ways of saying things and just creating something new that is very inspiring to me. So writing is definitely my favorite hobby. I have been writing for a long time now. I think I started writing when I would tell my little sisters stories, because my mom used to tell them stories about these 5 princesses, and I ended up kind of bouncing off of that and writing a story about Five Princesses. And it just kind of went from there. I started writing poetry and songs and such. I can't remember the exact age that I was at, but it was pretty young. So I've been writing for quite a while now. I also love reading. I have been reading ever since I learned to read, basically. When I was younger, you could not catch me without a book, basically. Now that I'm more into writing, I don't read quite as much, but I do read quite a bit. I really enjoy reading classics. The reason I love reading is because reading is really an expression of an author's viewpoint and the way they see the world. And so it's very interesting to see people's perspectives on things, especially from a Christian perspective. It's just very interesting to see, and you can glean a lot of truths from reading books. Even, fictional things, you can glean a lot of things from that if you read critically. So that is definitely why I love reading, because I'm a very deep thinker. So I love seeing different perspectives and different thoughts on things and getting into the author's head about different events that are happening, because fiction is a special tool because it's a lie that's based in reality. While these events didn't happen and these characters aren't real, good fiction is always based in reality, and it's going to have the author's perceived truth in it. Now, it's up to us as the readers to read critically and test it against the Word of God to decide, is this actually truth or not? But that's really why I enjoy reading, is to just really get in there and deeply think about those things. Another hobby that I really love is music. I love singing a lot. I'm always singing. I'm always like humming, like at work or whatever, or in my car. So, never plant a camera in my car because you will hear things. But I really enjoy singing. I've been singing ever since I could sing, honestly. My parents have always encouraged us to sing. We've always done family specials in church and that sort of thing. I sang my first solo when I was like 9, and I've always just enjoyed singing for the Lord and just using my voice, however good it sounds, to spread godly music. I also enjoy playing the violin. I have been playing for 7 years now, almost 8, I want to say, for quite a while. I don't take lessons anymore. I do enjoy playing the violin. I more enjoy playing by myself. I don't necessarily enjoy playing in front of people. I would rather sing. I play a little bit of piano. I've actually been learning a song on the piano lately, but not anything to speak of, really. I kind of just enjoy music in general. Music is really a language, and it's a very powerful tool. While I'm not super great at it, I do enjoy listening to music and singing music to bring glory to God. Another hobby that I have is book collecting. I love collecting books. I started doing this a year or 2 ago, and it's kind of an addiction now. Tried to pull back the reins a little bit because I don't really have any room for books anymore. If you've seen my Instagram, I think I posted a picture on there once of I have like a cube shelf where I keep my clothes, and my books are all stacked on top of there, and it's very unsteady. So I need a bookshelf, but I don't have anywhere to put it right now. More on that later. I love book collecting. I mainly collect classic books like, Jane Austen, Charles Dickens, those sort of things. And I also collect a lot of books that I enjoyed reading as a kid that maybe they're not around as much anymore. So I like collecting those someday for my future children to be able to read the same books that I read as a kid. I know they're very wholesome, and I know that they won't have anything that will affect them in the wrong way. Like, I know from reading them as a kid that they are wholesome books. So I enjoy doing that. I mainly thrift my books. I hardly ever buy them new, but most of them look like new, so that's great. I also have picked up crocheting. Not really good at it yet. You probably laugh if you saw my projects. I also enjoy riding bikes. I don't do that a whole lot just because my time is usually spent on those other hobbies that are more important to me, but I do enjoy doing that, and I try to do it at least once a week. It doesn't always happen. And I also love writing poetry. I think I wrote my first song at the age of 9, so it's been a while since I've started doing that. This question, I love this question. If you were a penguin, where could you live? So penguins live all over, Antarctica, South America. I think if I were a penguin, I would love to live in the Galapagos Islands. I feel like that would be really cool. I don't know why exactly. I think it would just be cool, but love that question. Pretty random, but it makes you think. So yeah, I would probably live in the Galapagos Islands if I was a penguin. Last question, and then we'll get into some life updates that I'll try to keep pretty brief. What is one of the biggest lessons about writing that you learned in the process of writing your book? This is a great question. I have a lot of answers to it because I wrote my book for 6 years, so I've learned a lot in that time. I would say the main lesson, and this really honestly goes beyond writing, but it definitely applies to writing, is just to find your purpose and to have a purpose. Like I said at the beginning of this video, one of the questions was what is one of your main dreams or goals? Glorifying God. That is my main purpose in my writing, and I hope that that shines through in my writing. But if you have a purpose and you stick to it even when it's hard and you keep going, that will really show in your final work in writing. So if you're just writing to have fun or to sell books or write a good book, you might end up with a pretty decent product at the end. But I think you can really tell when the writer's heart is really in it and when there's purpose in the book and if there's not. So that would be probably the biggest lesson that I've learned, is just to have a purpose and really stick to it and make it shine in my writing. I have a lot more lessons that I have learned from writing my book, The Price of Blood. So if you want to hear some more of those, I actually posted 2 different posts on my blog about that. So total 10 different life lessons that I learned while writing my book. So if you want to hear more about my answer to this question, you can visit the description below. I think I have my blog linked there, and you can go check those out. And I hope that you enjoy reading some more of the life lessons that I've learned. Okay, so now to get into the kind of life updates thing, it's been a while since I have posted any sort of life update, personal video besides about my book, really. My last Q&A video was quite a while ago. So I've been up to a lot in the past, several months. So I'm just gonna kind of update you guys on a few of those things. The first thing that I want to update you guys on is my book, The Price of Blood. As some of you guys may know, I had a book signing in, I think it was July, so like a month after I had published my book, and that was a huge success. A lot of people came, so thank you to everyone who came out to that. It was just a super fun time, and it was so cool to see everyone come out and celebrate my book and just kind of see the fruits of my labors as a self-published author. I don't have a lot of in-person, like sales and that sort of thing, so it was super cool to see that. I signed a lot of books. I sold, I think, 11 copies that day, which was amazing. So thank you all who came out to that. Overall, The Price of Blood has sold pretty well. I didn't have high expectations for how much my book would sell, just because that's not really what I wrote it for. While I do want to make an impact, I ultimately didn't write it to sell books. I sold, I think, 45 copies online, plus the 11 at the book signing, and then there was a few more that I sold in person, just to a couple different people that wanted me to sell it to them and then sign it. But thank you to everyone who bought my book and who read it and left reviews on it. If you haven't left a review on my book and you've read it and enjoyed it, please go do that. That really helps me out and helps my sales on Amazon. But thank you to everybody who did read it. Just seeing that people read it and enjoyed it really just makes me happy and encourages me. So thank you for that. Next thing I want to update you guys on is some vacations that I took this year. I took a couple different vacations actually, and I think I posted maybe some pictures, but I didn't really take any videos, I don't think. But I went on 3 main vacations, I think. First one was in May. My sisters and mom and I went to Iowa, and we stayed in an Airbnb for a couple days, and on the way there we visited our state capital, which was cool. It was a really fun trip. We hadn't really done like a girls trip before, so that was super awesome. And then in June, my favorite trip of the year, my sister and brother and I went to visit my best friend Juliana in Pennsylvania, and that was so much fun. One of my favorite trips ever, honestly. It was just so much fun. We were there for like 5 days, and just an awesome time, just because my friend and I don't get to see each other very often, so that was super fun. We hung out, did a bunch of random stuff, had a bunch of crazy antics. We filmed our podcast episode, which if you guys have seen that, if you haven't, go check it out. That was a super fun trip. The only fun thing, or not fun thing about it, was that I drove the whole way there and the whole way back, which was like 10 hours there, 10 hours back. On the way back, we got stuck in Chicago, which was not fun. But other than that, it was an amazing trip. And then my family and I just took a little vacation last week, which by the time this comes out, it'll have been a couple weeks, but we went up to Upper Michigan and stayed in an Airbnb for 2 nights. It wasn't anything super crazy. We went and saw a lot of different sites. We went to some beaches, saw some lighthouses, a shipwreck museum, just stuff like that. It was a really great time. We got to canoe on a lake. So I think I posted a few pictures of that on Instagram, so you can go check that out. Go follow me on Instagram if you don't. But that was a super fun trip too. So those were just some of the vacations that I went on this year. I don't really vlog a whole lot anymore just because I'm not a huge vlogger and it's kind of awkward to film. And also I just enjoy being in the moment, which is also why I don't take a lot of pictures, but I'm trying to do better at that. Another thing that happened this year, not specific to me, is that 2 people that I know published books. Intermission while I grab the books. The first one, my sister Sara, published in January. I think it was January. If it was last year, I apologize, Sarah. Close enough. It was right around January. She published this book, The Secrets We Hide. It is an amazing book, a page turner. Love the characters in it. So go check that out. And I also made a video all about the book and my thoughts on it on my YouTube channel a while ago. So you can go check that out too. But make sure to go check this out on Amazon. You will really enjoy it no matter what age you are. And the other book my friend Juliana published in, I think it was maybe May, I want to say. And this is kind of a devotional-ish, not devotional, but devotion-ish book, just dedicated to the teens and youth of today and just a lot of things that they struggle with. She covers a lot of different things like anxiety, depression, peer pressure, those kind of things she covers in this book. And it's just really down to earth and it's really encouraging to Christian young people of today. So I would encourage you guys to also go check this out on Amazon. You will not regret it. This can be, honestly, even if you're not a teen, you can read this. It is really just a great book for anybody to read. But yeah, if you guys want to go check that out, I will try to remember to link both of these books in the description below. But again, I have a lot of things to link, so we'll see if I remember. Another thing that happened this year is my sister and I started a podcast. I think we did that in like February. So if you guys are not subscribed to our podcast, make sure to go check that out on YouTube. I think we're on Spotify as well. It's called the PK Pod, Pastor's Kid Podcast. And it's just about our take on a lot of different things, whether they're biblical things or our biblical take on things going on. Like I said earlier, we did one about Charlie Kirk, and we've done, I think, over 25 episodes now, so there's quite a bit for you to watch if you haven't been caught up on it. But yeah, go check that out. Another super exciting thing that has happened and is sort of still happening this year is I made the decision to move out of my parents' house. Super exciting transition, a little bit scary, but mostly exciting. I have a roommate that I'm going to be able to move in with. We are currently looking for an apartment and we have been for a while. We're just trying to find something that's, safe and in our budget and that sort of thing. So it's kind of a long process, but hopefully one of these days I'll be able to have like some kind of apartment tour or something on here for you guys. Don't have anything yet to show you, but that's just another super exciting update. And lastly, I did want to mention that I've gotten a lot of questions lately about, are you working on a new book? Are you working on a sequel to The Price of Blood? What are you working on these days? Are you not writing anymore? What's going on? So I kind of wanted to address some of those things, even though that wasn't a specific question in the Q&A. I am working on a new book. I'm always working on something. So if, you are curious, I'm always working on something. So you can just ask me what I'm working on. You don't have to ask if I'm working on something because I really honestly always am. So this new book is a completely different genre from The Price of Blood. Honestly, like it's just pretty opposite. It's a kind of a cozy contemporary sort of thing. I'm not going to spoil too much, but it is about a family with 9 children and just kind of their different struggles and different experiences and journeys. With 9 children, there's going to be a lot of different varying personalities and that sort of thing. So I wanted to address, some struggles that a lot of Christian kids have and just kind of encompass like my childhood and growing up in a Christian family and that sort of thing. Will I publish this book or not? That is the question. We will see. We will see how it turns out, how well I have this vision in my head. We'll see if that actually works out the way I want it to, but I'm having fun. I haven't even started writing it yet. I've just been kind of plotting it out. How long will it be until this book is finished? I honestly have no idea. Given the track record, The Price of Blood took me like 6 years. So hopefully this book doesn't take as long, but we'll see. And I'm not going to try to rush myself. I'm going to try to enjoy the process. So we will see. Maybe I'll update you guys a little bit more on that another time. But for right now, that's honestly all I can say about it because who knows what will change between now and if I do publish it. And also, I just kind of want to keep you guys in suspense. You're just going to have to wait to find out more. So make sure to subscribe if you're not subscribed. And that is it for this video. Hopefully it wasn't too terribly long. I will try to edit out unnecessary things, but I have a feeling it's going to be pretty long. So apologies for that. Thank you guys. If you stuck around for the whole thing, you are a real one. And thank you guys so much for watching and listening to me answer your guys' questions. Thank you for submitting questions. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you got to learn a little bit more about me. It's a little bit different of a video than I usually film, but I had a lot of fun doing it. So hopefully you guys had fun watching. Make sure to subscribe to this channel if you are not subscribed. Go check out my blog, go check out our podcasts, go follow me on Instagram, all of those things. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.